Alright, so this is a video on the lesson from Friday, September 22nd, on Unit 1.2, Day 4, Complex Angle Pairs. So now, what I mean by complex angle pairs is this. Before, we'd been dealing with pictures that look like this. Now, in reality, can you think of anywhere you've seen this exact picture? Probably not. But we can apply it to shapes like trapezoids, parallelograms, rectangles, basically any shape that's got parallel lines in it. So we're going to show you how to take what you've been learning and actually apply it to something you may be able to use outside the classroom. So started with something basic, now we're going into actual shapes. A couple things to think about first of all, some helpful hints for this lesson. When you're dealing with shapes, you really want to get it back to this kind of picture. This is what we're used to. This is where we know our angle pairs. So let's try and replicate that in the shapes. So I suggest highlighting or bolding in the parallel lines first. You know that they're parallel lines when you see these little arrows on them like that. So in the first one, I'm going to really bold in AB. And notice how I extend it past the shape itself so it looks kind of like what we've done before. And then CD is the other parallel line here. In this one, there's only one set of parallel lines, so that's my only option. Now, I also need to find a transversal that includes the two angles I want to solve with. What I mean is I need a line that cuts through and uses this angle and this angle. Transversal is just another name for this line, this green one I'm bolding in, that cuts across the other two parallel lines. So my choices are either AC or BD. Well, obviously, since I want to include these two angles, I have to use this one. Otherwise, I'm not going to actually use those angles. That's kind of a problem. So now it's just a matter of using what we learned before. So looking at this picture, take a couple seconds, pause right here. What kind of angles are these two? If I'm looking at this as a picture of this, what type of angles are these? So think about that. Hopefully in your head, you recognized this type. SSI, which stands for same side interior. They're on the same side of this line in between the parallel lines. Now that helps us because now we can figure out, are they congruent or are they supplementary? Well, if you look back at your notes from yesterday or the day before, it has in there that same side interior are one of the two types that are supplementary, which means that they have to add together to equal 180. That's what supplementary means. I'm just going to abbreviate it SUPP. Okay, supplementary. So I need blank plus blank to equal 180. All right, well, let's fill in our blanks. Those are our two angles. One of them is 5x minus 5. The other is 3x plus 25. So those two angles together have to make 180. So now let's start solving it algebraically. I've got a couple x's on this side, so I can put together some like terms. So I've got 5x plus 3x, which makes 8x. And then I've also got negative 5 plus 25. Those are like terms because they're both numbers. These are like terms because they both have variables. Negative 5 plus 25 is positive 20. And then don't forget to still include equals 180 there. You can't forget about that. All right, my goal in algebra is to get the x by itself. So I'm going to move the 20 away first. I can't deal with the 8 until the 20 is gone. So subtract 20 from both sides. That goes away. Now I have 8x equals 160 now. When it's 8 next to x, that's really like times x. The opposite of multiplying is dividing. So I'm going to divide both sides by 8. And I get that x is equal to 20. So that's my x value. Now, some of you might be really excited and like, okay, let's go start the next ones. But let's check and make sure we actually answered the problem. I did solve for x. However, they also ask you to find the measure. That's what that little lowercase m stands for. They want us to find the measure of angle CAB and the measure of angle ACD. Let's clean up my space a little bit here. Got kind of a lot of stuff going on. All right. Well, if I know that x is 20, all I need to do is take that 20 and substitute it in to find the angles. If this angle is 5 times x minus 5, that really means it's 5 times 20 minus 5 because I just found out x was 20. 5 times 20 is 100. 100 minus 5 means that this angle is actually 95 degrees. Now there's two ways to find the second angle. I can plug 20 in for this one, or I can think about the fact that these are same side interior angles, which means they have to add up to 180. So if this is 95, the other one must be 180 minus 95, which ends up being 85 degrees. So you could do it that way, or if you plug in 20, 3 times 20 plus 25 also equals 85. So more than one way that you can get the same answer, but these were also things that they asked for as well in order to finish the problem. The remaining 3 problems are your assignment. I'm going to help you kind of get at least a little bit started on this first one. Because this guy, there's more than one parallel lines, or there's more than one set of parallel lines. So you have to kind of decide which one is going to make more sense. You want to use this angle and this angle, which means you have to use the parallel lines that use that. So first option, you could do this and this. Okay, you could use those parallel lines, but the issue then is if I draw my transversal here, I'm not really using both angles in this area. That's what I need to do. They both have to be attached to the parallel lines. So I can't really do that. So let's get rid of that. The other option is that I can use these as my parallel lines. And if you rotate your page, you'll see that this is the line that cuts through. So if you rotate it around, you'll kind of see that it looks like the transversal we've been doing, only turned on its side. So if I had this, it would basically be, whoops, my bad. Let's see if it'll let me do it. It'd basically be like if I took this and turned it sideways, and that didn't totally work the way I wanted it to. It doesn't want to cooperate. There we go. I took that guy. So it'd basically be like that if I rotated it sideways. Okay, so hopefully that gets you at least a little bit started. Remember, figure out what type of angles they are. So are they alternate? Are they interior, exterior? Are they corresponding? You know, what type are they? Start with that. So what type of angle? And then figure out, is it going to be congruent or supplementary? Work from there, and that'll tell you how to solve the rest of them. Feel free to email Teachers for Help or some of your classmates as well. Your quiz is going to be on Monday, so be ready for that.